Hey, welcome to Wednesday Word. My name is Evan Carmichael, pastor here at Arise Church, and I'm really privileged to have the opportunity to speak with you. We're in the book of James, and we're in chapter 1. We're finishing up chapter 1 today, and we're looking at verse 19. James says, "Understand this, my dear brothers and sisters. You must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry." Now, if there's ever a verse that you could apply the term easier said than done, it might be James 1:19. Because this is how this is how we interpret this verse, right? When we're angry, we're slow to listen, we are quick to speak, and we are quick to get angry. I know for sure that you can relate with me on that. I've done it. I've been there. In fact, in our, we just moved, but in our old house, on my wall, I had this verse printed out to be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to get angry. As a reminder, because every day we live our life, there are these external pressures that are continually pushing on us and trying to get us to react, and there's bad things that happen, and if you got kids, they do something. If you're married, that they do something. Then we have our jobs and everything else. And we're in this world where there's all this pressure, and so many people it's almost as if they are pressure cookers, just ready to blow their top at any moment. James gave specific instruction that we have to be quick to listen. We don't want to listen. When we're mad, we want to be heard, but we need to learn how to listen. You'll never be able to properly address the problem unless you understand the problem. And if you're quick to listen, you know what you're going to do? You'll begin to understand the problem. You'll be able to begin to see the big picture. What is it in that person's life, whoever's upset, whoever you're angry at, or maybe they're angry at you, you begin to see all the pieces of the puzzle, everything begin to come together. You can't properly address the problem unless you know what the problem is. We are quick to listen, but here's the next one, slow to speak. I said earlier, like a pressure cooker. We get angry. It's almost like an explosion, or it's just blah. Been there, done that. Regret that. Where all these words just explode out of us because we're so angry, so upset, and we're heard. The words come out. And what's the third one? Slow to be angry. Some people have a very short fuse. Your fuse is so short, the smallest things absolutely set you off. And you get, if I could say, disproportionately angry to the problem. My wife's told me that a number of times. Why'd you get so mad about this? I just said this or asking this. Well, really, in life, and I think we all do this, there's a lot of other things that we're not dealing with properly, and it all builds up, right? You ever had that? You're having a bad day, and it's just that one last thing, the one straw on the camel's back. And what does it do again? It gets us into doing things that we regret. I hate regretting things because I realize when I regret it, I shouldn't have done it. I could have avoided the pain of regret if I wouldn't have done those things. When we're angry and we don't control our temper, the words that come out of our mouth can destroy. The saying, I don't know if there's a more dishonest saying in the world, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. It's what we said as a defense mechanism when we were young, but the reality is that words will destroy us. Words will crush us. Some of you look in the mirror every morning and you still say, I hate my ears, I hate my eyes, I hate my nose. Because when you were a little kid, some little kid, your friends, they say, oh, your ears look weird. Your eyes look, you got weird eyes. Your nose is, Why is your hair like that? Those words begin to mold our life. Could be even other words. We're saying your parents got angry. They exploded on you. They said things that literally crushed your spirit. I was just listening to a podcast. They were talking about words. And we'll talk more about the tongue in James as we go on. But, in that podcast, one of the things they're saying is that we communicate our thoughts through words. So really, what are words? Words are idea containers. To me, is a concept that resonates. It's a container. We place our idea in a container of words and we communicate that. That's why our words have weight. That's why we have to be careful when we're angry that we don't let our words just shoot out of our mouth, because they can destroy your spouse, your wife, your husband. I know I've crushed my kids with the words that have come out of our mouth. There's a lot of weight in our words. Anger gets rid of all the safety measures that we have, the guards over our mouth and these words that come out. Verse 20 says, human anger does not produce the righteousness God desires. So our reactions produce things in our life. So you can't just say, oh, no, well, I just got angry. I just lost my top. Sorry, no big deal. My mom is like that. My dad is a bad temper. No big deal. No, every time we have a reaction, that reaction is influencing our life. It's influencing our destiny, because the reaction produces something. You see, human anger, James is saying, it won't produce the righteousness God desires. It's producing something else, but it's not producing what God desires. Controlling our anger will produce the righteousness that God desires from us. It's a self-discipline that we begin to foster in our lives. So verse 21, get rid of all the filth and evil in your lives, and humbly accept the word God has planted into your hearts, for it has the power to save your souls. Get rid of the evil, get rid of the filth. We just moved, I mentioned earlier, clean house. You don't realize how much you accumulate in your life. You got a clean house. Clean it up, clean your mind, clean your heart. One of the things that bug me are email inboxes with thousands of emails. And I recently got to a point where I was at the highest number I've ever been. So I went through deleting emails. I'm usually really good at deleting emails. But then I learned something else. I can either keep deleting emails or I can begin to unsubscribe. Over the course of my life, every little thing you may do or look into, you subscribe, you put your email in, and now you're on the mailing list, and then you're bombarded. Erase the subscriptions. And then I thought about it, I could take it to another level, just never subscribe at all. And I wonder how many things in our life, without even realizing, we have subscribed to. Ways of thinking, lust, anger, behaviors. We've subscribed to things that we need to unsubscribe from. We have to clean house. We have to get rid of the filth and evil in our life. He goes on to say, but don't just listen to God's word. You must do what it says. Otherwise, you are only fooling yourself. Listening is not as important as doing. Listening takes you halfway. It's the first step, but you got to do it. In the Bible Knowledge Commentary, I like what they said with this verse: the growing numbers of sermon sippers who flit from one doctrinal desert to another like helpless hummingbirds are deceiving themselves. And we just go from here to here, from here, hearing words. Someone else, I heard somebody put it this way: they're enchanted by the word, but they never allow the word to change them. I'm like, oh, that's a good word. I'd rather have someone tell me it was a changing word than a good word. We can get excited. There's so many good preachers out there that can get people jumping and on their feet and screaming and hollering and just all riled up. But if you never change, then all you did is hear a good word. You heard a good sermon. It's the word that changes us. That is so very, very important. And so he goes on to say, if you listen to the word and don't obey, it's like looking at your face in the mirror. You look at yourself, walk away, you forget. What's the point, right? But if you look carefully in the law that sets you free, do what it says, don't forget what you heard, God will bless you. There's blessing in it. Who doesn't want blessing? There's nothing wrong with wanting a blessing. People make it sound bad. No, there's nothing wrong. Blessings are good. There's blessings for us, but there are steps to take so that we can receive the blessing. Look into the God's word to hear that. And he ends by saying, chapter 1 ends by saying, if you claim to be religious but don't control your tongue, you are fooling yourself. Your religion is worthless. So if saying is one thing, acting is another thing. Pure and genuine religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress, refusing to let the world corrupt you. So it's not just saying, it's doing. Caring for people, it's doing. Not letting the world corrupt you, it's doing, it's protecting. Action, doing, caring, controlling our anger, the things we do are so important. And I want to challenge you in that. That's your challenge for this week. Control your anger, because there's a product being produced, whether you like it or not, for good or bad, depending on your reaction. My hope is that you'll do the best to, as we said earlier, let's be quick to hear, quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to get angry. Thanks for tuning in. See you here next Wednesday at Wednesday Word. God bless you.